So we've all heard the saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? That's what they try to tell you. And you'll hear people tell you that in business and in life, like, hey, slow and steady wins the race. I think sometimes, and actually most of the time for me, where I've seen my largest amount of growth, right? When I've seen myself take steps that I didn't think I could do, were the times where I bit off more than I can chew. And here's why I say that. We have a set capacity as to how much we can endure. All of us do. And the only way to build that muscle and grow that muscle is to tear that muscle. It's the same thing as working out, right? You got to tear the muscle in order for it to experience growth. And in the same light, whenever I've gotten into a situation where I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, what am I going to do here? How am I going to get out of this problem? Is where my capacity has elevated, right? Like I've broken thresholds, right? I've pushed my production overload to a point where it's like, you got to make do. And I'm not saying I haven't failed in those situations or that I haven't, fallen on my face. It's happened, right? But for the most part, when we start talking about these quantum leaps and having this growth, you're going to see that you're going to have to push yourself to higher capacity to handle that higher capacity. Sorry about that, but keep it in the footage, right? I'm making a good point here. You're going to see yourself having to step up to the plate. But if you were to just constantly stay in that comfort zone and just do as much as you can, yeah, you're going to see growth with time. But what we're trying to do is leap. When you're trying to leap, you have to push those boundaries. You have to put yourself in a situation where you feel like, yeah, what am I going to do? And obviously responsibly. I'm not saying be dumb and just, let me just throw myself into something I don't know how to handle. It has to be that you can handle it, but a little bit over what you're normally handling. But so much so that when you do it, it's scary. If you're not scaring yourself, if you haven't been in situations where you're like, wow, how the fuck am I going to figure this out? Like, I'm such a dumbass. Oh my God, I'm a loser. Again, don't say those words to yourself, right? But those feelings come up. And if you haven't been in that situation, that's probably why you might find yourself stagnant or somewhere where you didn't want to be, or with that dream and that desire, right? Where you're sitting here like, I was meant for so much more. Like, why am I not getting to that so much more? And it's because you haven't pushed yourself beyond your comfort. You haven't fully exercised that production overload where you're just like, I need help, I need assistance, I need something. When that starts to happen, when that takes place, right? When you put something that's so challenging, believe me, you're going to step up. You're going to step up, especially if you're part of this program, if you're here with me right now. And everything else that we're, slowly building, right? Slowly building, putting it together, all these little bricks that we're building. There's no way you're not going to surpass it. And again, that's what community's for, right? That's what we're here for. That's why you can reach out to me. You can reach out to somebody else here. We have to figure out what it is that's going to push us to that next level. And the only way to do that is to constantly put ourselves in iffy situations. I know how irresponsible that sounds, but I promise you, when done correctly, you're always going to see growth.